On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're looking at another pedal from the NUX Reissue Series. This one is the XTC OD. And the Beard's going to tell you about it without actually saying exactly what it is. XTC.
Well, it's a NUX reissue pedal.
Yes, it is.
And it's based on
something else.
Something else. You know, years ago, do you remember Ray's Music House in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania? Mm-hmm. Where I bought the Red McCarty PRS that we have on the show a lot. And I think, is it Mike Mutzabal maybe that worked there?
I think that's right. That sounds right. Yeah.
At the time. They had an amp room upstairs, and they had started to get some high-end amps in there. And the only time in my life that I ever played there was a few amps in that room that never saw anywhere else.
Right.
I'm trying to remember what they had. They had a Bogner up there. And I got to, yes.
What a coincidence.
Got to play the Bogner up there. It was a great amp, and I was like sold that that was the amp that I wanted to get someday. Little did I know I would never own one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the XTC OD, modeled probably after something like that. Without saying it.
Right, together. We said it apart, but not together.
I don't think it matters, right?
I don't think
they're not being subtle about it either.
The Reissue Series is not a secret. I mean, it's a nod to some very, very influential pedals.
So you can get some kind of high gainy things, and the thing that I worry about with these pedals, like, probably more geared to people that play like different styles than we do. Sometimes.
Right.
And I think. So if you are expecting to hear us play this pedal in metal, like in a metal style.
Do you degent?
Yeah. No, you're not going to hear it. So don't complain about it.
Right.
Go find somebody that does.
Right.
And I'll give a shout out Jonathan over at the Tone Lounge that we talked about before. I know he's getting some of the NUX pedals in soon, and he's doing a series on getting metal sounds out of a Vox amp, I think he said.
Okay.
And so, when you hear that, that's where to go.
That's right.
For now, you're just going to hear two guys pick what they like. So, the question we've been asking is, where would we end up with these pedals? Mm-hmm. And so, in your clip, and we don't know whose clip is first and whose is last right at the moment, but in your clip, where did you end up?
Well, I ended up right where the pedal is right now because I played last. Surprising. Now, I don't know how to describe this, whether this was fair or not. I knew I had a high gain pedal, but for some reason I decided to play my PRS Standard 24 with Dragon pickups in it. So with that being said, I really dialed the gain back, which we're going to run through the knobs and we'll push it up. But I really dialed the gain back because I was trying to go for a little different sound, and whether I achieved it or not, I don't know. But there is certainly a lot more gain in that pedal than I had it. But probably I paired it with another guitar. I'd probably turn the gain up a little bit more. But with this one, I was trying to tame the beast we picked what we played. But again, I'm not sure we play in that style very well that might feature that.
Well, and then just having fun, I was like, one of the things I love is when a guitar gets to that point where it just wants to go.
Right.
I'm like, we got high gain. I pushed the gain on it. And why wouldn't you grab a 335?
Right.
This which hasn't been on the show as much as it should be.
Right.
It's 335. I think it's 80. Do you know how to read those?
I can't see. It looks like, is it 81?
I think it's an 85.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an 81.
We need to call Chris or Brody.
Might be an 87. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. But why not? Why not play the hollow body and crank the gain and let it just run?
Have it on the edge of feedback the entire time.
Right. If you took your hands off it, it screamed.
It was running.
So I like when you have to physically control them. So that's where we ended up. Let's run it a little bit. So, yeah. I mean, it's a volume, it's a gain, and it's a tone. So I think we'll leave the volume about where it is. Take the gain all the way up. Let's do volume and tone at 12. Run the gain knob and see what that does.
And for fun, I'm going to put it in the bridge pickup.
And do you want to do the clean tone?
Yeah. How about I do the clean tone in tune, in the right key, right?
You ready?
I think so, sure. It gets fat.
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering where that buzz was coming earlier. I looked down because of the lights going on. It didn't look like it was on, and it was.
Right.
So if that's in the video, apologize. I mean, you turn the gain all the way down, and there's still gain.
Yeah, it still pushed the amp,
And
and
then
even with that volume being somewhat unity, maybe.
It gets quick. Should we run just a little bit? Let's take the volume knob down and see if we can get like that bedroom level kind of big sound that we talked about before.
Yeah.
Or should we run the tone knob first? Let's run the tone knob first.
All right.
Indecisive.
It's your show. All right. Is it on or not? Not on.
No.
All right.
Oh my God.
It's the first pedal I've seen where the tone knob goes to 11.
It did some. It's weird.
It did when it was really muffled and all the bass was in there. It was like a blanket over the amp, and as it came, it got louder and.
It hit that point. There's a significant volume. I think in the video you'll probably see us both like
You'll find it.
What? There's a big volume jump there when it hit that point where it opened up, I guess.
Yeah.
We said about the bedroom thing. If we roll the volume way down, what do we get? We started at bedroom level.
Yeah, that's right.
We didn't end at bedroom level.
No,
so
we
it
didn't.
got loud pretty quick. Of course, we're running a 22 watt tube amp on
About half.
a little over half, maybe.
But you can see just from running those knobs that there's a lot of different tonal possibilities in there, especially with that tone knob. Like, I'm not sure, when you would have it too far to the left, but definitely you can bring some brightness in there. You can even bring a little bump in there if you wanted to. And you can go from, even when I had the gain pretty far back on the lead stuff I was playing, it was still pretty hot. I had hot pickups. So you're not going to get like, you can maybe roll your volume back and get.
You're not going to get a
tone.
transparent overdrive out of it.
That's a true story. But it's cool. It's a big pedal, and it might take, if that's your thing, you'll be right there. And if maybe that isn't your thing, it might take you in places that you might not normally go.
Right, because for me, it's always an overdrive pedal. I don't have a high gain pedal.
Mm-hmm.
So high gain for me is turn the amp up and put an overdrive pedal on and let it just sustain for days.
Right.
It's not gain. It's not that type of gain. So for me, that's, I don't know if you can tell from the clip, but it becomes, what's the hashtag wankery maybe, but it's a fun thing to do because it's not something I play with that often. I don't play with that much gain that it just sits there and does its thing. So fun from that. And for the price point, easy to get into if you just want to have something for fun. So that is the OTC OD Ecstasy. Don't eat it. OD from NUX. Part of the Reissue Series. Anything else?
No, thanks to NUX for sending things out to us.
Yeah, we do. We appreciate that. So, speaking of appreciating things, we always like to take a minute, pause, and just say thanks to everybody that's watching, subscribing, clicking the notification bell, hitting the like button, leaving a comment down below. If you have questions about the series, we'll certainly try to answer them if we can. If you stop out to Facebook and Instagram, follow us there. I should say www.pjandthebeard.com. That's a thing now, so you can check that out. It makes it really easy to watch some of the series we've done. And so anytime you interact with the show, it helps us out, helps us bring more cool content like this. And I think with that, all of that little bit.
And more. With that, I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.